Hi guys, I'm Askus, I'm going to be your tour guide today. How are you all doing?
Good, you?
Good.
Fantastic. Usually I say that, nobody answers, so thank you.
Oh, you're alright. What's the history behind your name on there?
It's Greek. It's Greek. But my parents chose it from, have you ever read To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah, no, I didn't read
Yeah,
it.
so they're right from that, pretty much.
Okay. That's so cool. I bet you get asked that all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. It's quite nice. So just a bit of health and safety. Just keep your hands and feet inside the pant at all times today. Don't want to be losing your fingers. So just a bit run down of the tour structure. So we're going to be seeing 8 colleges and 9 bridges today. Just going down the back of the room. If you have any questions, just shout my name. It's Atticus. So Cambridge University was founded in 1209. It was actually founded by a group of Oxford students, but we do try and keep that quiet.
Yeah.
It was actually founded because when the Oxford students were in Oxford, they were accused of killing a townswoman. And as they operated under the church's canon law, they got off with just a small fine and a slap on the wrist. The townsfolk, very angry about this, sought retribution for themselves and started attacking Oxford students. And so they fled to Cambridge and set up the first Cambridge College, which was Peterhouse in 1248. Now Cambridge University has 24,000 students, 12,000 full-time staff, and 31 separate colleges. Just watch your heads, guys.
It's not fun.
Yeah, we can see it.
It's much worse when you forget to duck and then get taken out. So we're now just coming into the grounds of St John's College, founded in 1511 by Lady Margaret Beaufort, the grandmother of Henry VIII. She actually died 2 years prior to its founding, but entrusted it to her chaplain, John Fisher, who was the childhood teacher of Henry VIII, who founded it in her name. Now this building on my left with the stained glass, this is the old Library of St John's. It's actually one of 12 chain libraries still left in England. Chain library is essentially when all the books are chained up to prevent theft. Now this bridge, this is called the Bridge of Sighs, built in 1831 by Henry Hutchinson. It gets its name because when Queen Victoria came to see it, she proclaimed that it looks like the Venetian Bridge of Sighs. However, if any of you have ever seen it, it actually doesn't look that much like it. And this is because Queen Victoria had never actually seen it, she'd only read about it in a poem. Everybody was too scared to contradict her, so the name stuck. She was a pretty terrifying woman. Now this bridge coming up, this is Kitchen Bridge. It's the second oldest bridge on the river, built in 1711 by Robert Grumbold. Gets its name from the John students who nicknamed it this because it takes them from their accommodation to their dining area, hence Kitchen Bridge. We punters know it as Concussion Bridge. I'm sure you can work that out for yourselves.
Hit 2,000 calories, then let's say you fall into this river.
Yeah, lots of things like Frank like that.
Do you know what I mean? So I wear a life jacket to preserve my life. I couldn't swim out because I was too tired. So my mate jumped in and pulled me out.
Now just behind me, coming up on my right, this is St John's New Court building. Started construction in 1825, finished in 1831, also by Henry Hutchinson. This is actually accommodation for second and third year students. Still done using the Scholars Ballot system, which is where the best performing students from first year get to choose the best accommodation. So it's safe to say I would not be in that one.
I love how 1825 is new.
Yeah. So on my left here are the first buildings of Trinity College, founded in 1546 by Henry VIII. It's founded as a direct result of the Reformation, where they were training new echelon priests who would be loyal to the Church of England, which is just founded.
Heads.
Watch your heads again, guys.
Your phone.
So this building on my left, this is called the Wren Library. It's built in 1695 and it contains around 300,000 documents, some of which include Shakespeare's original folios, first edition of A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh, and also some of Sir Isaac Newton's own textbooks and notebooks, which students can still use as long as they have a good enough reading list. Now on the bottom floor of the Wren Library, Sir Isaac Newton also did some of his first experiments to the speed of sound, where he clapped and waited to see how long the sound took to reverberate around the room using a metronome. And he was actually only 15% off the established figure today. The next bridge we're just about to come under, this is Trinity Bridge, built in 1764. Funded by London from as you can see, just as we come through. That one there. Now this building just coming up on my left, this is the Trinity Punch Shed, however it was formerly the Trinity Brew House, which is kind of like a student union for Trinity students. It serves a dual purpose, the first of which is that it kept students away from the townsfolk who they famously didn't get along with. And it said that the townsfolk would see Cambridge Uni students coming, they would then hike up the prices, so this became a much cheaper alternative. The second purpose is that during the brewing process, it sterilised water to create a very low percentage ale, and this helped fight disease as students weren't drinking dirty river water. So these were students ranging from about 12 upwards, still drinking beer, so they were very rowdy. So we're now just coming into the grounds of Trinity Hall, founded in 1350 by a man called Bishop William Fate. Now this was founded as a direct result of the Black Death, which killed around a third of England's entire population. The group that were most hit were priests, as they were the ones combating the disease. And so Trinity Hall was essentially founded to train new priests that would then replace those that died. Now we're just coming into the grounds of Clare College here on my left. It's the oldest college on the river, founded in 1338. It was founded by a lady called Lady Elizabeth de Clare. Now she was considered very unlucky, also being punished by God because she'd been widowed by 3 separate husbands. However, they had left her with a very vast amount of money, which she used to found the college. The theory on the river is, though we don't know if this is true, is that she was killing them all. It's almost tested.
Will that be a fail then?
No, they don't really mind when you use your pro. It's all weird. That's a bit of a no-go.
Next one is to try.
Yeah, he'll say that. They're really light, so you can just skim them across the water as well.
Well, okay, if it's still there on there, but
Yeah. Right, we're now just coming into the grounds of the most famous college most famous college view on the river, which is King's College. King's College was founded in 1441. It was actually founded as a finishing school for a school Henry VI set up a year prior, which was Eton, giving us some of our best and worst players. Decide which. On my left you'll see King's College Chapel, started construction in 1446, actually only finished in 1536. This means that it took 90 years to build and almost outlasted 6 separate kings. Now the reason for this is because of the War of the Roses. There was a very high turnover of kings at that time. The last to do something to it was Henry VIII, who's responsible for the fan-bolted ceiling, which weighs approximately 1,800 tons.
Wow. That's 1,000 kilos.
I like them.
During the English Civil War, Oliver Cromwell actually used it as a barracks for his troops. And if you get the chance to go there, it only costs about £10, and you can still see the original graffiti left by his troops. Now just coming up, we're about to go under the King's Bridge, built in 1819. Now this isn't actually the original site of the King's Bridge, it was originally in the middle of the concourse here that we're going through. However, the fellows and some of the students complained that it ruined their view, and so they uprooted the entire bridge and moved it to where it is today. Probably a bit messy, but... yeah. Now these buildings on my left, that's where we're coming past, is Bodley's Court. This is student accommodation for King's students. Famously where Alan Turing stayed during his time at King's, famous for cracking the Nazi Enigma code, and designed the first programmable computer.
Simulation, yeah. Okay, never mind.
He was also the youngest fellow at Cambridge University at age just 24.
Very, very cool.
I'm going to get you away from this people. So leave them all their stone first.
It's working, you're doing great. Megan, you're amazing.
We can Photoshop it later.
It's almost like you're doing it.
So we're now just coming into the grounds of Queen's College, originally founded in 1448 by Margaret Anjou, who was the wife of Henry VI. He actually gave her £200 in order to found the college, but even back then that wasn't a huge amount of money. So it was then refounded by Elizabeth Woodville, who was wife of Edward IV. And they set up a huge tradition of British Queens donating to the college. The last to do so was Queen Elizabeth II.
So you're on a bit splash zone.
Oh no, you're alright.
Keep wondering if it's rain.
Yeah, it's the spot.
It's alright, there's colours there.
I promised the water was clean. It's definitely not. My friends, they're drank. So we've still got lots to learn. So we have 7 days of paid training. And then a final test at the end.
That sounds 10 hours straight. Such a lot of fun.
This bridge we're about to go under is called the Mathematical Bridge. The original one was built in 1749 by James Essex, however this rotted and fell down. So this installation was built much later in 1905 by William Sindel. And it gets its name from the tangent radial trussing the beams, which give it its curved look even though all the beams are actually straight.
Yeah, I read that somewhere.
Lots of people on their test today.
Is that the test guy?
Yeah, that's
See,
the
I
test.
thought the person sat down.
Oh no, yeah, no, the person sat down to the test guy.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was learning from them.
Yeah. Tangent and radial.
really sorry about this.
That's fine.
Which way did you say to push? Why are we so bad at this?
Yeah, watch your head,
If you
guys.
can you
Heads.
push?
Heads, heads.
Can we go backwards? Can you just push it from the front to the back?
Yeah, but I don't want to knock the bridge of the boat.
I was gonna knock the bridge off.
Let's not the bridge the boat!
Yeah, if you just give us a push of that end, thank you.
The boat. That's what I meant. The boat.
The bridge has been here 100 years, so we're gonna knock it over.
I meant if we all lean that way.
Sorry, I know it's alright. Sorry, you're turning me around. So
That's why we have to take tests, ladies and gentlemen. She didn't take tests.
that's why I'm getting ready back to do.
Anyway, this bridge that we've just come under, this is Silver Street Bridge. And the story behind this is it's actually, it used to be a toll bridge, so it used to cost 1 silver piece in order to go under. Now, we're just at Mill Pond now. On my right are some of the buildings of Darwin College, one of the newest colleges at Cambridge, founded in 1964. It's also one of the only colleges to be founded by other colleges, which were St John's, Trinity and Gonville and King's. Now the reason for this is that Cambridge University had a massive influx of postgraduate students and they had no way to accommodate them, and so they just founded an entire new college in order to do that.
Does different colleges do different subjects?
No one college specialise. I mean, they kind of specialise, but they don't just do one subject.
So why do they have different colleges?
You
You don't have to, if you don't know, it's alright.
No, so like the fellows of each college will have specialties, so they kind of go like that. But they don't just do one subject at any time.
Okay. So would you... Darwin.
Yeah, so these ones here.
So do you apply for Cambridge or do you apply for a
You
college?
apply for separate colleges, or you can do an open one,
Okay.
where you just get whichever one,
Okay.
apart from the 2 female ones and your male.
Yeah.
So Darwin College is actually named after Charles Darwin, who did go to Cambridge. He went to Christ College and actually trained to be a priest during his time at university, despite his theory of evolution. One of my favourite facts about him, or one of the most interesting facts anyway, is that whilst at university, he founded a society called the Glutton Club. Now, the Glutton Club was dedicated to eating meats that were previously unknown to the human palate, and he and his group of friends actually hunted and ate a species of tortoise near extinction because the meat tasted so good, apparently.
Naughty, naughty.
No. Now this building on my right, this is the Essex building, and you'll see that here it's steel bow tie rods. Now these rods go through the entire length of the building, and the reason for this is that at one time the outside wall, this wall here, the foundations at the bottom had worn away by the river, and so it was on the verge of falling down, so they had to put steel rods all the way through the length of the building in order to stabilise it. Now this building on my right is the oldest building on the river, dating back to around 1240. It's the President's Lodge. This is where the President of Queen's College lives with her family. You may notice it has very small windows, and the reason for this is during that time the King imposed something called the window tax. And the whole idea of the window tax is that if you were rich enough to have large windows, you're rich enough to pay tax on them. Obviously the only person exempt from that was the King himself. But it's why a lot of buildings from that time had very small windows. It's actually where you get the saying daylight robbery as well.
I love that fact.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite words.
I'm so telling the kids that at school.
So even back in the 1200s, they were very keen to tax folk on little luxuries.
Yeah. Well, like having a window. I don't
Yeah.
think we get to that luxury.
The bedroom tax.
I was going to say, if you've got a spare bedroom,
Yeah.
I'm happy I came.
Now this building on my right, probably my least favourite building on the river.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really fit in with the surroundings at all.
No.
This is the Erasmus building. It's a student accommodation for Queen students. Built in 1960, designed by a guy called Sebastian Spence. One time, his grandkids were actually on a punt, and one of the guys, the punter, said that he didn't like this building at all. And he let his grandkids on there.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I was a bit like that. Very awkward journey back.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not.
Nice all.
It's not a wrong comment, is it?
No, exactly. Now the Erasmus building is actually named after a guy called Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam. He was a travelling scholar who brought Greek to the university.
Oh, is that why? So I went to Sheffield Uni and we had the Erasmus
programme, yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah. So yeah, he contributes to the Erasmus programme as well. Now called the Turing programme since Brexit.
He's not a celeb.
I am now.
But as I was saying, Erasmus actually famously hated Cambridge because he said the wine was terrible and the people even more so. Never found that in my experience. That's right. As we're going past Bodley's Court again, you may have noticed that this side of the building is much more worn than that side. And this is because this is a recent extension. But you'll notice that it's still quite uniform design-wise. This is because they reopened a limestone mine that had been closed for 30 years in order to have continuity in the design.
What are the chances?
What is that?
Like a butterfly dragonfly.
Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam. It's quite a mouthful.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, when I first started punting, it was hard to get that out all in one go.
yeah.
Do you call him Desi for short?
Yeah,
We'll go
Desi to his
Desi.
mates.
Yeah.
But obviously no one from Cambridge is his mate.
Yeah. Not useful.
So this building on my right, this is the Gibbs building. Started construction in 1723, finished in 1732. Designed by a guy called James Gibbs. And you might notice it actually looks a lot like another building in the world, which is the White House. The reason for this is that James Gibbs, being a prominent architect, he wrote a book called The Book of Architecture. Not a very imaginative name, but and then this inspired the building of the White House in the neoclassical style.
See what's saying, come on.
Now, have any of you ever heard of the night climbers in Cambridge?
Should we have?
I like that. Okay, so the night climbers were a group of students who dedicated quite a lot of their time at uni to
Climbing.
to climbing Cambridge University buildings. They famously climbed up King's College Chapel. They put a hat on top of one of the spires. Now this wasn't a great prank because the master just got the groundsman to shoot it down. So being quite ingenious, the students went back again and they put a Union Jack at the top, which can't be defaced or shot down in any way. Illegal. And so they had to build scaffolding up to the top like there is on there now. And then just as they got to the top, the students climbed up that night and moved it to a different spire.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, they're pretty
I love that.
Very naughty.
yeah.
Oh, we thought they were all well behaved.
Now another prank they did on Clare Bridge, this bridge here, the oldest bridge on the river, is that you see the stone balls on top of the bridge. They made paper mache versions of these, and actually used to drop them on punts, so they'd think that stone balls were coming on and they would jump out, which is pretty ingenious. They're quite intellectual friends.
These are.
And then half-pass it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, some of Clare College's most famous alumni include Sir David Attenborough. There's actually a bronze bust of him just on the right-hand side of Clare Bridge, just out of view. And if you ever see it, you'll notice that the nose is quite worn down. Now, the reason for this is that students from Clare used to rub it for luck before exams. Who knows if that actually works? Now, another one of their most famous alumni was James Watson, part of the famous duo Watson and Crick, who discovered DNA.
I feel like I should have known that.
Why? Not a biologist.
I think Game Pod will along boys. I think Game Pod will along Who's Greg? Shit, chocolate. Last guy. Yeah, an entourage.
Now, just alumni, Stephen Hawking. Famously, he was actually an Oxford student originally, and he was a very difficult man to get along with, according to his professors. And so, he, at the end of the year, when he was teetering between a 2-1 and a first, he actually told his professors that if they really wanted to get rid of him, they'd have to give him a first, and he'd come to Cambridge, which did indeed happen.
There you go.
So the moral is be very annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, blackmail works.
Yeah. So I knew how to get what he wanted.
Yeah. What's this river called?
Cambridge. That does make some sense, I guess. Cambridge.
It's not called the Huddersfield, is it?
No, that'd be called the Hood then. It's going to sailing on the Hood. Yeah, that's
As we're coming just back to the grounds of Trinity. Right, little bump here, guys.
At your head.
This is the nature tour.
Yeah. Oh, you should see it on a Saturday when it's really hot. It's a nightmare coming down here.
Yeah, I think we've done alright for weather today.
Yeah.
我往这边出掉头了。
It's alright.
So Trinity College has been the most successful college at Cambridge, producing 34 Nobel Prize winners as well as 12 world leaders. Famously where King Charles III went. The story on the river has become more myth than actual fact, is that King Charles' bodyguard used to go to all his seminars and lectures with him, and at the end of the year did the same exams as him, and actually it said that he got better than him in his exams.
But it does have logic to that.
Now, one of my favourite alumni, Cambridge University, is Lord Byron. Lord Byron did go to Trinity, and in his first week he saw a sign which said no cats or dogs. So being the prankster that he was, he went out to a local circus. Can anybody guess what animal he bought instead?
A lion.
A bear. Yeah, a bear, which he kept in Cambridge for around 10 months.
And where did he put it?
Oh, who knows? there's a quite famous picture of him walking the bear on that garden just over
wow.
there.
Oh dear.
Shakespeare.
So you might just be able to see, just looking back at New Court now on my left, The clock tower is completely misnamed because there is no clock on it. Now the reason for this is that they actually ran out of money during construction and couldn't afford to put a clock on each face of the tower. And you may wonder why there's no clock there now. And this is because it's a grade 2 listed building, which means no alterations can be made to it. So it's going to remain without a clock forever. Some of the night climbers, more recently than the older ones, actually put a Simpsons clock on one of the faces instead.
Do they still do it?
Yeah, they do. Recently they cut off a banner across King's College to two of the spires, which said Slava Ukraine,
Oh.
in support of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And they did one for the Vietnam War.
Okay, I like that.
I can imagine it's some sort of secret society.
Yeah, they wrote a book on the subject, detailing exactly how to climb each university building. But what's crazy is they used to do it where, actually they still might do it without climbing equipment and then in suits as well. You wouldn't catch me doing it.
Those people rocked it.
Now, one of St John's lesser known alumni is a man called Dr. John Dee. Dr. John Dee was actually the spy master for Queen Elizabeth I. And he used to sign his correspondence with the Queen with the moniker 007, which inspired Ian Fleming's James Bond. Which is quite a cool thing. I wouldn't mind being known for that. No worries.
You're better
If you
than
stick it in
some.
behind you now, yeah, it will turn you left.
Behind me now.
Yeah, just, yeah. Oh, like that one.
Behind you, not
Io mangio del gelato.
Stephen Hawking was young at college and he met his first wife on this bridge. And he was the underrated great
Put his life jacket on.
Yeah, that guy can't swim.
Well, I mean, it's the job for him.
Yeah, exactly. So as we're just coming back up to the Bridge of Sighs, the Venetian Bridge of Sighs actually takes prisoners from their courtrooms to be executed. It said they audibly sigh as they go over. Now the way the St John students say it, it takes it from their accommodations to their studies, they sigh as well. One of the most famous student pranks.
More modern
Yeah. One of the most famous student pranks actually hung a car suspended it above the water from this bridge. It was in Austin 7. There's still a picture of it online if you want to look it up. The theory is that they punted the car up all the way down the river and then just attached it to the bridge.
Of course they did.
Yeah. Now on my right you'll see these trade doors. These were the original trade doors which punting used to be for. But it's also the side of another student prank. It's my favourite student prank. Is that some students went in, they switched all the fire exit signs round, leading down to this door, and then they pulled the fire alarm. So the people actually ran out and fell in the river. Again, very intellectual pranks. You've got to respect it. Now, just coming up, you'll be able to see the back of the new court building. You'll notice that there's a completely different kind of brick used here, much cheaper brick. Again, this is because they ran out of money. Seeking to cover up this, they planted the Boston ivy, which goes a lovely deep shade of red in autumn, which are the St John's colours, incidentally. However, this has been more of a curse than a blessing. This is because the ivy has been getting in between the bricks into the mortar and breaking it up. And as this is a grade 2 listed building, they're not sure what repair work they're going to be able to do on it. So,
Surely that's
guess we'll wait and see.
counterproductive. That's so counterproductive.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you want to save the building.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
now we're just coming past the last college that we're going to see today. Magdalen College, founded in 1842. By Sir Thomas Audley, who was the Lord Chancellor of Henry VIII.
I'm 17.
Are you all 16, 17?
No.
16. 20.
I'm 13.
Some of Magdalen's most famous alumni. C.S. Lewis, who wrote The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. He actually used to drink in the Pickerel, the pub just on the left-hand side of Magdalen Bridge, with another very famous fantasy writer, who was J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote Lord of the Rings.
It's 24 degrees.
It's muggy.
Yeah, very muggy. Another one of their famous alumni was Samuel Pepys, who kept diaries during the Great Fire of London. Famously buried a block of Parmesan cheese along with his own valuables to keep it safe. And now we're just coming under Magdalen Bridge. This is actually the site of the first bridge ever over the river, which is called the Great Bridge, built by an Anglo-Saxon king called King Arthur of Mercia. Obviously that's not this one. This one was built in 1823. It's actually one of the first iron girder bridges in the UK.